Hi, you guys. I'm Ronita Italia. I'm the editor-in-chief of Good Homes India magazine. And I'm really, really excited for my chat ahead. I have to tell you that this is the first time I've actually written down an introduction for somebody I'm going to talk to. So you guys have to hear me out. I have to read out the introduction for you. So my guest today is a national award winner twice over. He's also the chosen chef for all the presidential and prime ministerial visits to India. He's served over 75 international dignitaries, including Donald Trump, Barack Obama, Nicolas Sarkozy, and Vladimir Putin, to name a few. Chef Varun Inamdar, thank you so much for joining me. My God, this is like, did you see how weird it is? Because I'd actually written it all down so I don't miss out the names. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ronita. Thanks.
Okay,
it's
I have
a pleasure
to ask you.
Speaking with you. Tell me.
Yes, I have to ask you. I've been very curious. What is it like? How is it? What is it like?
What do I say? It just sounds like someone else's profile just being read in front of me. I hope I can do even 10% justice to what you've read out about me.
No, of course you will. No, but I really want to know when you're in the kitchen under pressure and you know that you're sort of cooking up stuff for all these people. What does it feel like? Does it ever occur to you?
It feels like I've started all over again because every person, every dignitary, every guest is so different. Their requests are sometimes so basic. We go so prepared and we go, so technically sound, but sometimes they just pop something so simple in front of you. And they say, hey, can you just cook steamed rice and a basic lentil stew? And you're like, okay. And then, everything comes crashing down. You're like, oh God, I was preparing so much for this. So sometimes it's just about unlearning, relearning all over again, because everything that you've learned suddenly goes out of the window. Sometimes it just does not come of any use. So yeah, it's a new moment every time.
Wow. Also, I can actually imagine you, or rather can't imagine you in your, chef's uniform. You seem like a completely wild child.
Yeah, and I'm looking a little hazy and frizzy at the moment because I've just been driving at like neck break speed to reach for this bit of interview. But let me tell you, there are moments when you have to throw a fit attack in the kitchen because there are times when things don't go the way you want, or they don't go the way you've actually written things down. Or, sometimes, chefs get into this whole mode of sitting down with a paper and pen. We're not the laptop kinds. We are the more paper to pen kind of people. And we like to kind of sketch our plates. How is the dessert going to look? What is that swirl of chocolate? Where's the mint going to come? Or where's the coulis going to come? Or where's that little bit of that sprinkling of spice going to come? So we kind of use up pen and paper, and we kind of, use colored pens and things like that. But when you actually go down from your drawing board into the real world, into the kitchen, there are times when you may want a hot plate, but the dishwasher may just give you a cold plate. And that's where you actually look at him and say, garam manga tha. But what do you do at that point in time? So we have even gone to the extent of using heat guns just to kind of heat the surface of the plate. So we've come up with whacked, crazy ideas just because we wanted to reach in time, or we just wanted to kind of get that plate the way we want. Simple. So there are crazy moments, and there are so many examples that I can give you, but there are so many I just can't give you because somebody may just hear and say, "Acha, ye bhi kiya tha kitchen mein." It just best stays out of public domain.
Yeah, secret. Okay, so it's the summer edition, mandatory question. I have to ask you, how does the season translate into ingredients in your kitchen?
In terms of ingredients, this is possibly one of the most amazing times, especially in an Indian kitchen, because you, from papads to pickles to chutneys to your year-long spices, you make everything for the entire year and you just kind of stock it up. Again, it's the season for mangoes. I'm a very, very, very typical mango eater. Like I sit with 8, 10 of those Alfonsos. Sometimes, as a child, I go down memory lane when I remember my mother. She used to literally strip all us children naked.
Yeah.
Make us sit in like this whole circle, give us like this whole tub of mangoes and say, "Khao." Finish it, straight run into the bathroom, have a shower, come out, and then get ready. Because with our clothes on, I don't think we've ever eaten mangoes as a child. As we kept growing, I remember we had this one place in our kitchen. It is like this whole basin or the sink. Our family was very clear, boss. You line up there with your portion of mangoes. You go squeeze it out. Make the best of it. Go wash your hands, sanitize them, and get back to work. No sitting in and around the house at all, because the stains of mangoes are the most difficult. So things like these. So these are these little things that you associate summer with. Then when we used to go down, we used to drive down to our villages most of the time as a child. Parents, for them, the most fun activity is bachon ko gaon le jao. That is like the most fun activity in any Indian home. And your gaon by default is some 700, 800 kilometers away. So, but driving there, sitting with all these aunties who from Kokum Sharbat, one is plucking the kokum and getting your hands tinted and magenta in color. Then it's all about licking those sour fingers. The pulp is nice and sweet. So sometimes, and a lot of people don't realize when you actually eat kokum, when you eat kokum, it's different. And when you use it as a flavoring ingredient in your culinary applications, it's completely different. Because kokum is like literally a wild mangosteen. It's from the mangosteen variety. When you actually sit to eat, you eat the insides of the fruit. But in a culinary application, you actually use the peel, which otherwise would be thrown away.
Yeah.
And this can be treated in two ways. One is sweetening it and making a sharbat out of it. And the second one is building it up with salt and literally sun drying it, which you use for your fish curry. Your mouth is already... So, these are these little memories that are associated with summer. And, when summer actually begins to fade, you have everything in your kitchen. You have spice mixes, you have keri ka achar, you have nimbu ka achar, you have those little vegetable pickles, for the ones who like vegetables. Though vegetable pickles in the north are associated with winters. Because, winter produce getting converted into, winter ka achar. Then kokum sharbat, all those little granitas and slushes and candies. And you have those kachi keri with the namak and the mirchi. It's crazy. It's crazy. So summer to me is all this bundled up together. When a lot of people think of sun and beaches and sand and things like that, we are the ones who are happy with our and kokum and, those little things. So, that's summer for me.
Yes. I mean, that we all relate to that. That's all of us in a nutshell, at least in India, right? For us.
Yeah, very true. Indian summer is very different from a British summer or an American summer. Here, we are very happy with our food.
Blessed. Okay, I have to move on to your newest baby. You've got, which is, I'm told, a result of the pandemic.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So this baby of mine is Mumbai local tawa. This is a very, very funny incident. All through the pandemic, my wife was craving for pani puri. And one day she said, "Yaar, you make it for the whole world. And, when it comes to your own family, you're not making pani puri. What is this? You can make puris at home. Come on, you can also make a chutney and this and that." So I said, "Acha, chal, theek hai. Today we'll do pani puri session." So, just as a shortcut, I called one of my friends and I said, "Acha, sunna, tere paas puri hai kya, by any chance?" So he said, yeah, I've got some 3-4 packets. Do you want me to keep them aside? So I said, "Haan, 2 packets side mein rakh de yaar. I'll come and pick it in the evening." So I went down this whole store, I picked up my packets and all of that. So his uncle suddenly showed me this one place right next to his and he said, अच्छा आपका कोई दोस्त होगा तो देखो ना मेरे पास एक जगह यहाँ पे खाली है. So I said, okay. And I kind of basically took the, basic analysis of the whole place and all of that. I came back home and I told this to my wife. I said, Acha, this uncle, he was suggesting that, you show this place to a friend of yours or something like that. So 3-4 days passed. And again, I think I went down for something. So he said, Acha, beta, aapne wo jagah ki baat ki kisi ke saath? So I was like, okay, I had to ask somebody. Okay. I said, nahi, uncle, pandemic, it's very difficult, uncle. You don't get... tenants and you don't get people so easily these days. Staff is also such a concern. So he said, beta, आप तो इतना काम करते हो इंडस्ट्री में, आप देखो आप ही शुरू कर दो.
बड़े शेफ हो.
So he gave me one goalie. I had to bite the goalie. I had to also behave like Varun Inamdar in front of him. So I said, uncle, why not? So I came back home. I told this to my wife. So my wife is like, see, if you think you want to take a chance, let's take a chance. Anyway, it's a nice opportunity for you also to serve your food to everybody. Because when I quit working in the hotels, of course, I used to manage some 14 outlets at one point in time. And then came this whole phase of television and internet and television shows and food shows and things like that. To us dauran mein, I did a lot of consultation projects for a lot of people. But hardcore Varun Inamdar ka khana is something that you only have to get invited to my house for. So I took this whole chance and I said, why not do something which a lot of people are craving all through the pandemic in a city like Mumbai. So I took the essence of Mumbai city, right from its kebabs to tawa to tandoor to Chinese, everything that all of us are craving for, except chaats for that matter. And I rebundled them, reshuffled them. And 40% of the menu is still what you and I would want to eat. But 60% is that little Varun Inamdar touch, where I want you to kind of eat what I want you to eat. So then there are things like cocktail bhidu biryani, which is my ode to Jackie Shroff, who's like this ultimate friend of mine who's always been with me through thin and thick. So this is like this whole multi-kebab experience in a biryani. So right from your chicken tikka kebab to your pahadi kebab, malai kebab, seekh kebab, kaleji, all of this bundled into a biryani, which, you otherwise would never associate with a biryani. Then there are things like Afghani chicken, which is like this white colored tandoori chicken. And on top of that, there's this whole cheesy sauce. So when you open it, it's like a woo thing. And then there is the bapafal, which is like a kala Szechuan fried rice, which is black in color. So it's mad. The menu is mad to another level. It's experimental, but the essence still is Mumbai. So that's Mumbai Local Tawa all about.
And where is it?
This is right opposite Mahim station in Mumbai, of course. And in the first 2 months, we got a request for 14 franchisees, which was crazy. The kind of response that we got from all across the world. And, we actually had to calm people down and say, listen, we cannot travel as long as we have a system in place, as long as we have our SOPs in place. And, we have, a kitchen model, which is this. But we cannot travel, to set up the place in its 3D form. So it's been a crazy experience. The kind of response that Mumbai has given us, it's very warming.
Okay, super looking forward to trying all of this madness once things get back to normal. So tell me, at home, who cooks for you?
Sometimes for myself, and sometimes my wife cooks for me. She never used to cook. She could not even make chai at one point in time. But now she can rustle up some real good food. Like she can even attempt to cook non-vegetarian dishes.
You're disgusting. You're disgusting.
I'm just being candid. But trust me, when we got married, I was traveling a lot. I was working a lot. I used to come back home and every time there used to be khichdi. So one day casually just asked her, I said, why don't we try something else? Why don't we do something, why don't we do chicken pulao or this or that? So she said, that's the only thing that I know to make. So I was like, oh, that's so cute. Okay, then I'll start teaching you.
Are you serious?
Seriously. So that's how it started. But, now she cooks amazingly well. Sometimes she really surprises me with the combinations that she kind of puts to test. But trust me, she cooks better than me today. And I can
You're
say that with a big
super
microphone.
pride. Super pride.
So
Right.
she's, yeah,
And
but she now cooks very well. She now cooks very well. Sometimes, when our friends come home and things like that, they feel I've cooked, but I've been traveling, I've been working. But yeah, she handles it very well. She handles it very well now. So
I'm very, very proud of her. Like even more so than you.
I am super proud of her because one, she handles me.
Yeah.
She handles my business. She handles my meetings sometimes. She handles the marketing sometimes. She also handles social media sometimes. She's handling this beautiful house of ours. And she's also managing the kitchen. I really wonder how she does all this, yeah? It's mad. It's like woman power.
Super, super.
So, yeah.
Okay. Another very important sort of development in your
Yes.
journey has been that you are currently, right, the brand ambassador for the Swasth Bharat Yatra, that whole
Yes.
Eat Right India movement
Yes.
that has been, and you've been nominated by our Prime Minister. Tell us about that.
So this actually was a random meeting that happened in Delhi. Absolutely random. I had no clue that something like this is going to be knocked on my head. I had gone in the room for a completely different meeting, for something very, very, very different. And they were discussing something else when I walked in. And I sat through the meeting, and casually, this person turns to me and says, Chef, what are your views on something like this? So I looked at him and I said, do you want me to kind of add value or criticize? What do you want me to do? So he said, no, you can be at your critical best because, we've still not launched the campaign. So I said, see, there are 2-3 things to it. One, I don't think you should. Earlier, it was called Eat Healthy Campaign, if I'm not wrong. So the first thing was, I don't think you should call it Eat Healthy because health to everybody means different. To you, it's different. To me, it's different. For the 1.3 billion people, it's different. So I think you should call it Eat Right. So whatever's right for you, I think you should eat that. Whatever's right for me, I'll eat that. So subconsciously, we know what's right for us. So I think we should call it Eat Right. Then the third word. So the third word was campaign. I said campaign sounds very political. We should kind of mellow it down and call it like or just associate India to it. So let's make it Eat Right India. So they all looked at each other and said, press mein kuch baat hui hai kya? So they said, nahi sir, change the name. So I was like, okay, now that was very, 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 very boisterous. Quick. Yeah, that was very quick, very boisterous for a government body to take a decision like that in the third second of criticism is huge. So I just smiled and I said, are you like really sure? Like, hello, don't take me seriously. I just kind of thought something and I said something. He said, no, sir, very good, sir. I think it's a very good thought. What if you be the brand ambassador for it? So I said, sir, yeah, okay, I'm okay. So I said, sir, anybody else that you think should be part of this? Oh, we'll speak with Mr. Bachchan, we'll speak with Mr. Kohli, but you first tell us primarily if you're part of it. So I said, sir, kya baat kar rahe aap? I said, yeah, sure. So that's how this entire thing happened. And then they told me, acha, to aap batao, aap kya karna chahte hai? So I gave him a list of a few things. I said, sir, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. The last was, so I can also do a cookbook. Because, a lot of people know that there are millets, but beyond jowar, bajra, and rye, which is ragi or nachni, a lot of people don't know the other millets. Also, they don't know what to do with these millets primarily beyond making a porridge out of it, or making baby food out of it, or making a roti or a bhakri out of it. They really don't know what to do beyond that. So I would like to stress on that fact. And we have somewhere around 17 millets in the country. So I would like to stress on those 17 millets, talk about its nutritional benefits and this and that. So I gave this whole drama for some 7-8 minutes. And they said, "Theek hai, sir, to fir agle hafte book launch karte hain." So I said, 1 minute, agle hafte? What do you mean by agle hafte? I said, book needs research and this and arey sir, aap to kar loge, sir, aap kya baat kar rahe? So I said, 1 minute, bookmaking is not something that, you go and like write a blog and publish it in the night and things like, it needs a little bit of research and things like that. Acha, theek hai to sir, 15 din le lo. So I'm like, 1 minute. I said, 1 minute, it doesn't work like that. So he said, acha, to aapko basic minimum kitna time lagega? So I said, sir, मुझे कम से कम 3 महीना लगेगा, and that is also stretching me to the limits and my team. So he said, अच्छा ठीक है, अभी हम है मई में, तो जून, जुलाई, अगस्त, ठीक है, 29 अगस्त को लॉन्च करते. So I said, okay, what do you want to call the book? So I said, sir, because we want to keep a lot of things in mind and things like that, let's call it mindful eating. Chalo, theek hai, done, kar do aap. So that's how this book happened. That's how the endorsement happened. And that, it just happened in a meeting where I was not required to be. I just barged into an office because they didn't want me to wait outside. They said, अच्छा chef है ना, उनको अंदर बुला दो, कोई बात नहीं, यहाँ बैठ लेंगे. So that's how this entire thing happened. So was it written? Was it destined? Was I just supposed to be there? Was I not supposed to be there? I have no clue, but it just happened. So 29th of August is when our Prime Minister announced in Delhi that you're doing something like this. And parallelly, simultaneously in Mumbai, I launched my book. So that's how these parallel events kind of took place here. So something
that,
just happened.
Yes. And you also, when you are that much in alignment with your...
if you can say so. I don't know.
No, it's brilliant. Okay, so you have very interestingly a lot of these nomenclature titles. Okay, Prince of Chocolates.
Yes.
And the Bombay Chef. Okay, so Prince of Chocolates first.
Prince of Chocolates. Okay, so I started off as a chef. Actually, if you take the whole journey, I started as a dishwasher many years back. This is 2002.
Wow.
It's this restaurant called, can I take names? Can I take names of the restaurant? Okay. So this is the restaurant called Out of the Blue in Bandra. I'm sure you've been there.
Of course.
At that point in time, it used to be known for its sizzlers and fondues.
Fondue.
So I was very excited. I thought this fondue was something very new and very different, and I think I should learn it. So I walked into this restaurant one evening and I said, sir, I want to work here. So he said, how old are you? So I said, sir, I'm 17. But I'll turn 18 in another 3 months. So he said, काम करो तो 3 महीने के बाद आओ. So I said, ठीक है. So I turned 18 on the 15th of October. 15th of October in the evening, I again landed. I said, sir, मैं आ सकता हूँ? So he said, तुम बड़े बेशर्म हो, तुम खिला दे. So I said, sir, but मैं 18 का हो गया हूँ. आपने बोला ना काम कर सकते हैं. So he said, अच्छा ठीक है, काम करो, आ जाओ, लेकिन किचन में जगह नहीं है, आपको बर्तन धोने पड़ेंगे. So he thought to show me off, he'll throw this ball at me. I took the ball and I said, chalo, I'll scrub vessels. No stress. So for the next 3 months, I was quietly just adjusting the vessels and I was kind of setting the angles and just kind of, scrubbing them. But I was also learning from the different sections. One day it so happened that the fondue guy did not turn up for the operations, for the evening operations. And I just raised my hands and they were throwing a fit attack. So I just raised my hands and said, sir, मुझे आता है. वो कैसे बनाता था मुझे पता है. So चल तुझे क्या पता ये वो. So I said, sir, मुझे एक मौका तो दो. I'll try my best. I'll make one dish for you and I'll show you. If you like it, then, we can take it from there. So he made it and the order was for Jackie Shroff. I still remember. He said, पागल है क्या? वो तो धमाल कर देगा अगर उसको पसंद नहीं आया तो ये वो. I said, sir, मुझे एक मौका तो दो. Let me make it. So I made it and the manager was, of course, surprised. His name was Mr. Rodriguez. I still remember. And the supervisor's name was Anthony. And Anthony came inside and he said, he's called you. He's called for you. So I said, भाई वो मतलब नाराज है, खुश है, मतलब क्यों बुला रहा है, मारने बुला रहा है या congratulate करने बुला रहा है. So he said, पता नहीं, but he said, call the chef. So I walked in, मैं अपना थोड़ा scarf adjust किया, टोपी adjust करके, I walked in the restaurant and he got up and he hugged me and he said, you're the man. बहुत आगे जाएगा, मेरे भाई तू बहुत आगे जाएगा. So Jackie Shroff is this huge towering personality. So I looked at him and I said, thank you, sir. And that was my first meeting with the man. Of course, a professional meeting as a fan, as somebody who's standing in the crowd and looking at the man act. There have been several occasions, but this was like this first professional meeting with this man. So from there, then OCLD happened, which is like this whole premier school of learning and development. And then I worked for almost 10 years with Oberoi Hotels. So I was there with the Oberoi. And then, you know how at every milestone in my life, Jackie Shroff has just popped in like a rabbit. Every milestone, every workplace, he's been there. And he looks at me like this and says, "Abhay, tu idhar kya kar raha hai?" And I'm like, oh, you recognize me? So from that, oh, you recognize me, to today, somebody who's on your speed dial. It's a big journey. having worked at the Oberoi hotels, one day I just reached this whole point where I said, listen, I just want to take a break. And I called up Mr. Oberoi and I said, sir, I want a break. And, I just want to go on a sabbatical. I just want to, kind of press the reboot button and all of that. So he said, do that. Take your month of a break. So I was sitting at home and I was chilling. And one day I got a call. So I picked up and I said, yeah, tell me. So the person on the other side said, you're interested in a cup of coffee. And this cup of coffee, trust me, is going to change your life. तो मैंने बोला ये कौन से लेवल का स्कैम है यार मतलब so I said yeah sure but who are you? So he said come for the meeting, you'll come to know. I said okay, where do you want to meet? So he said I want to meet you at Veranda. So I said Veranda at Trident. So I said sorry, I can't meet you there because I'm just on a sabbatical from the same place. I can't have a professional meeting in the same place. Like that's purely not ethical.
Not cool, yeah.
So he said, no, I want to tell you something about your professional existence in that property. So I said, okay. So I called up Mr. Oberoi and I told him, I said, sir, aisa hai. Do you think I should go for this meeting? So he said, yeah, of course, it's your hotel. Go. You should go. So I went for this meeting and this entire meeting happened for 3 hours. Instagram was not the Instagram at that point in time. So this man casually asked me, he said, are you on Instagram? So he said, no, I'm sorry. What is this Instagram? So he said, oh, you're not on Instagram. So he opened his page and he kind of showed everything to me. He said, you must be, you're a chef. You must be on Instagram. People, acquaint everything with photographs these days. And so I said, okay. So this person opened my Instagram account. He took my phone, opened an account. And I'm like, who the hell are you? Like, why are you doing all this to me? All of this happened. He gave me his card and he said, you wait with me? So I said, no. Who are you? So he said, keep this card with you. Whenever you change your mind, just let me know. So I said, okay. I came home and I just gave my wife the card. I just kept it on bedside or something like that. She picked the card. She went on Google and she checked the name. This happened to be the Prince of Kuwait. So I was like, okay. So my wife's first question was, I hope you were not rude to him. I said, 1 minute, why on earth would I be rude to anybody? So he said, no, but still, I hope you were not. So I said, no, I was very polite. Yeah, the way I am, I was. So she said, no, I think you must call him. And, there's a certain protocol that you need to follow with royalty and this and that. So I'm like, yeah, you're correct. I must call and I must at least say that, hi, okay, blah, blah. And, with that whole lump in your throat, I called him up and I was like, hello, hi, can we have another cup of coffee? Can we meet? Are you still in Mumbai? Are you still around? So he said, Varun, I knew you would call somewhere deep down. I knew you would call. Your visa's ready. You're flying day after with your wife for a 15-day paid holiday to Kuwait. So I was like, okay, now that was out of the blue completely. But I took it. I said, okay, if you say so, yeah, let's. So I came home. I told this to my wife. My wife's like, are you bad? Have you lost it? How can you just bite a bait like that? How can you just say yes for something like that? I said, listen, he's the Prince of Kuwait. How can I not say a yes to him? So all said and done, blah, blah, blah. I went to Kuwait. I worked in the pastry there. The Queen called me and then, a whole big story happened, which I can tell you some other day. Otherwise, I'll just lose the track. I have anyway lost the track here to the question. But all of this happened. I came back from Kuwait as a corporate pastry chef. When I started working here in the pastry space and the chocolate space, a lot of interviews happened. I met a lot of journalists. I met a lot of writers. I met a lot of editors who somewhere created this whole aura called the Prince of Chocolates. And trust me, sometimes I feel this is not me. You don't work for such accolades. You don't work for such names or you don't work for such titles. These titles just somewhere are given to you. And you just have to smile and say, oh, is it? You think I'm that? Okay, thanks. And you just kind of move ahead in life. So Prince of Chocolates happened like that. Then, of course, it became like a whole rubber band because then everybody, Prince of Chocolates is here, Prince of Chocolates is here, Prince of Chocolates is here. So that just kept resonating and echoing and things like that. So yeah, that became that. The Bombay Chef, that title is again the title of my show. That's the name of my show. And that also happened very randomly like that. I was getting a lot of rejections in television for my food shows and things like that. Somebody said, you've got a terrible accent. So I looked at him and I said, okay, kaam nahi dena to madhya mera naam mat kharab kar. So the person who was with me, they said, you can't talk to him like that. He's the programming head. I said, but 1 minute, if you don't want to give me the job, don't just, attack.
Don't screw
Yeah, you don't
someone's
have
mind.
to keep names, or you don't have to, stir the conversation in the wrong direction. So all of this happened. I was sitting and chilling one afternoon, and I got a call from a random number. It just read RB. So I saw it, I picked it, and I said, hello, yes. So he said, hi, this is Rajat Barjatia speaking. I have a blah, 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 blah channel, and I think you're this, and I think you're that, and we can work together, and we can do some magic, and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. Why don't you come tomorrow if you're free, and we do a whole mock test? So I said, okay. So, I heard the entire thing, and I was like, okay, 12 o'clock works. So point one, point two, and I was in the studio.
In it.
I finished my whole trial and like this whole pilot that we shot, and I walked into his office and I sat, and he gave me this whole gyan about the Barjatias and the family and the foundation and the values and the principles, and who does not know the Barjatias? Like, this does not need like a whole revision at all. And I'm a huge filmy guy, so I was listening to the entire story as if I just did not know anything. I was like, Haji, okay, yeah, of course, yeah. So hum aapke kaun? So I said, yeah. So I wanted to talk about Madhuri and Salman, but I was like, Varun, control. This is not how it works. So all of this happened. The show happened. We shot 8 episodes after that, and they did not work very well. The first 7 episodes kind of didn't work and things like that. The 8th episode touched 5 million in 12 hours. And this whole huge hamper came home and all of that. And I opened the hamper, and see, we don't understand million and billion so much as we understand thousands, lakhs, and crores. So he called me up and he said, Varun, we just touched 5 million. Do you understand what it is? And blah and blue. And so I was like, bahut bada hai kya? So he said, do you not understand what 5 million means? I said, no, but if you say so, I'm sure it's good. So this show was the Bombay Chef. And then that title again, got stuck to me. But I'm very happy to, have these titles stuck to me and things, because they just give you another little facet. And then, of course, then 15 million happened, then 30 million happened, then 50 million happened. The entire viewership till today is, I think, 533 plus, which is huge, which makes me number 3 in the world. And sometimes, these numbers really pinch you. Yeah, you're like, okay. So yeah, it's mad. Yeah, it's mad. Sometimes you feel... I just feel I'm living someone else's life.
No, it's good. It's your life, and I'm loving just being able to absorb a little bit of this energy. It's incredible. Your energy is up there. So it's fabulous. It doesn't feel like, it's like, it has to be one of the most fun conversations I've had with a chef.
Thanks, thanks.
Ever. Okay, so I want to take you now into the rapid fire.
Already? Oh my God.
Yeah, it's very chotu. It's no pressure. Yeah. I mean, your life is like far.
Okay.
Okay. So, ready?
Yes.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Cake or ice cream?
Cake with ice cream, possibly.
What flavor?
Chocolate cake, vanilla ice cream. Standard, can't go wrong.
Okay. Favorite fruit?
Mangoes. Alfonsos, to be specific. That variety.
Okay. If not a chef, then you'd be what?
I would have done something in the music space, because I love music. I love listening to music. And I think I would have done something in music. एक वो खलिश रहती ना जिंदगी में कि मतलब कुछ चीज कर पाते तो क्या करते. I think I would have picked up some instrument.
But you know what? Your life's not over.
No, that's fine. All that is there. वो तो कर लेंगे. I've attempted strumming the guitar several times. I've got one guitar in my house. Every time my wife sees it, she looks at me and she's like, yeah. And now what I've done, I've taken a money plant and I've planted it inside.
You're disgusting.
So at least it's good to use.
Yeah.
Some musician listens to this conversation, he'll slap me.
You're
sorry.
Okay. So lunch or dinner?
Wow. Okay. Both.
Okay. Black or white?
Wow. I'm always in a black t-shirt, so black.
Okay. Your favorite cuisine?
My favorite cuisine has to be very difficult, but has to be Thai because I love Thai food. It also can be Vietnamese. Having said that, Indian cuisine is too vast, so I just can't say Indian generically. But I love Bengali food and I love Vietnamese and Thai food
To eat.
to eat and to
And
cook. Um, Indian, like they'll say Indian.
okay, okay, super. And if you had to start a restaurant anywhere in the world,
Okay,
where would you?
it would, in all possibility, be in Scandinavia.
Why?
Just I don't know. As a child, I've always been fascinated by Scandinavia. Because बचपन में you couldn't pronounce, and now you can't visit for some reason. So
Oh no.
बहुत दूर है, बहुत बहुत खर्चीली जगह है, बहुत ठंड है. तो you know that's always been a place of fantasy. So Scandinavia.
Okay, nice. And in one word, this is the last question. In one word, to you, the future is?
Fantastic,
Okay, nice.
unstoppable,
Okay, nice.
unpredictable. Like the
Right.
words can just go on.
Many words. No, I'm
And
dying to ask you lots of questions. I have to one more, last one. Okay.
it's
With the whole pandemic sort of panning out, of course, you've started your new restaurant. So it's not like we're looking at, we've had a lot of prophets of doom, say a lot of scary things and just generally plant those fearful thoughts in all of us, not just in the food space, but just generally. But where you're coming from in the mind space that you're in right now, what do you have to say to the people watching this?
See, I just want to tell one thing which I keep stressing every now and then. I just want people to start following professionals for advice. Sometimes a search engine drives you up the wall and pulls you equally bad. And then it gives you these multiple thoughts कि मेरे को ये तो नहीं हुआ, मेरे को वो तो नहीं हुआ, because every search eventually lands into some kind of eventuality. So I just want people to start following the right kind of people. Whether it's a doctor, follow the right doctors. If you're following a chef, follow a professional chef, and so on and so forth. If you're following a musician, follow a trained musician, So in every aspect, I just want people to follow the right kind of people because the right kind of people will end up giving you the right kind of qualitative work rather than just, building on quantitativeness. So, that's my only piece of advice. Though I'm nobody to advise anybody, but if given a chance, then this is something that I would want to stress on and about.
Nice. Thank you very, very, very much. It's been incredible talking to you. I can go on and on, but I think it's a reasonable time to stop. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ronita. Really, really, really happy that we had this conversation. And thanks for your time. And thanks for thinking about me for this
Oh my
wonderful
God.
conversation.
Totally our pleasure.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Stay well.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you.
Thanks.
Bye, Varun.